Hey everyone, welcome to the Percussioner. Today I'm going to do something a little different. Today I'm going to actually just change a head. Now, some of you guys have seen that I've got a full-length video on how to actually do a drum from the very beginning. That means taking off the top head, the bottom head, cleaning everything. But this one's just a quick change. So a lot of times we've just got to change a head really quickly. We don't have the time to invest in cleaning the whole thing up. So I'm just going to do the quick change video. If you want to see the other video, it's on the site. It's a full-length one. It's designed for you to actually set your drum up and do it alongside me. So you've got the time to sort of go through everything and learn about the drum. It's a long video. It's nearly 30 minutes. So this one will be much quicker and just a quick demonstration of how we change a head. There's a couple of items you're going to need. You're going to need a new head. You're going to need 2 drum keys because we're trying to do this quickly, remember. You're going to need just, this is bubble wrap. You don't need bubble wrap. I just grabbed bubble wrap because it came in a package. You need something disposable because what we're going to do is we're going to lay the tension rods across these and just give it a quick spray. Okay, speaking of spray, you're going to want a lubricant of some kind. So what I've got here is just some spray-on silicone. You don't want to use the WD-40s and the CRCs or whatever that they have here. You don't want to use that. You want something that's going to last a lot longer. But because I changed my head so quick, I use silicone a lot because I'm constantly refreshing it. You're going to want a little bit of steel wool just to sort of wipe the bearing edge. You're going to want a ruler, okay? The ruler will come into play here in just a little bit, but this is how we get the head evenly tensioned all the way around and how we get a great sounding drum every time. There's none of this checking and tapping around trying to find everything, right? We don't have time for that. So a ruler is key. Okay? So the first thing we're going to do is just start unscrewing all this, and we're just going to go as quick as we can. Now the reason I'm changing this head is because I've got a kangaroo hide head on there right now. There's a guy runs Kentville drums. His name's Steel Turkington. Amazing guy, doing some great work, and he started making drum heads out of kangaroo skin. And he's been able to shave it down fairly thin, so I've used it quite a bit. But I've got to play some things coming up that require a whole lot more sensitivity. So I'm changing my head to what's called a Remo Diplomat M5. Great, now that you've got all the tension rods loosened, the next thing you're going to do, put your keys down. Now I take the tension rods, I like to keep them in order. I think it's a smart idea. You never know if one has sort of gotten into a funny angle. So I just keep them in order. I start with the strainer in front of me, and then I start just to the left of that. And then I take them off and I lay them down in that exact order as I was going around. I'm going to put them on my disposable piece here. You might have an old t-shirt, you might have some paper towels, an old newspaper. It really doesn't matter. Again, the idea is that you just need something that you're about to throw out that's a little disposable. Okay? Once you've taken that off, the next thing I do, just pull this counter hoop off and get this steel wool out. Just give it a good clean. We get all kinds of things in here. This head has changed pretty regularly, and I still end up with just a little bit of corrosion. I live close to the ocean here, so there's lots of salt water in the air. Who knows what you might get in there. Let's give it a good scrub. Fantastic. Now, I'm done with this head. This head I will still use again. It's perfectly fine. I'll put this back in my collection. So let me just set this on the ground for now. Now, take a quick look. Make sure there's nothing inside your drum that you need to remove. Sometimes we get little bits of particles and stuff. It's always good to sort of just turn it over. Just give it a little shake out, just in case. I just blow around in there. Just try to get as much dirt out as you can. Particularly in schools, you get kids that love to shove things inside the vent holes there. So that might happen. Great. Now that you've done that, the next step, just taking this head, putting it back on. A lot of people like to line up the logo. I do the logo opposite of where I want. With a plastic head, it doesn't really matter. These are super consistent. Remo does an amazing job of making these really consistent. So I simply just go across, and then I play on this side. And then we're going to put this back on. And then comes the next step of spraying your tension rods. Just want a little bit of lubricant here. Obviously, I'm doing it indoors for the purpose of this video. Maybe you want to do it outside in a garage or something, so that these, you don't breathe in all this stuff. There we go. You don't need much of it. Okay, now if we remember, we set these tension rods down from the left of the strainer. So I simply start putting them back on one at a time, back in the place they originally started. And I'm just getting them going. I'm not tightening them down, just getting them into the lug casings, I believe they're called, the lug casings. Okay, once you've got all of the tension rods back into the lug casing, what you're going to do, this part is not super important. I just start to go what we call finger tight. I go till they start to put up a little bit of resistance. Just get them down, because what's going to happen actually is that we're going to get this ruler moving soon, and the ruler is going to make everything exact for us, okay? This is why I love the whole ruler concept. If you think about it, the idea of making a head clear is the idea that the counter hoop, this metal one that we cleaned with the steel wool, is pulling down evenly around all areas of the head. So here we are. Just got a little bit of tension. You can already hear, I can see that it's not even all the way around. But what we're going to do now is you're going to take your ruler. Often I'll do this on a table because I think that's the best way to do it. Put it on a table here. That way I can get down, I can have a good look from the side here, and I simply pick a point. Now, everybody's going to have a different view of what this looks like on their drums. It doesn't matter which one you pick. I can describe a million ways to do it. What matters is that you look at it consistently the same way all the way around, all right? So I'm going to find a marker, I'm going to go around, I'm going to find the lowest number, and then I'm going to bring them all down to match it, okay? Okay, now we're going to be back at the beginning here. So now we're fine-tuning even more. I brought them all to an 8. Now I'm looking for them to look identical on that 8, okay? So I'm looking where, what I do is I move my head down until the point that the other side disappears out of my sight. I close one eye even. And then I line up and I put that black line just on top. There we go. And now I want them all to look exactly that way. There we are. Fantastic. So now we've lined all that up. Put it back on our snare drum stand. Let's take a look. Of course, you need a pair of sticks. So that's pretty low for what I would like. Again, I haven't changed the bottom yet. In this instance, we're just changing the top head. So I'll start adjusting this to make sure that it matches with that. I might even bring this down just a little bit as I bring this one up. just so I start to reach that point where they both resonate well together. There's a lot of different systems out there. People tune fourths, people tune fifths, people tune thirds. I've seen them all. In reality, what you want is your top head to be a tension that you feel very comfortable playing with. And your bottom head is the pitch. Your bottom head you can bring up and down to make the snare drum fit a little more into the pieces you're playing. I find more people adjusting the top head to adjust the sound with the orchestra, but your top head or your bottom head is the head that you really want to make that difference. So I'll probably bring this up just a little bit. As far as your snares go, it's very simple. I unscrew them all. This has a system of 3 strainers. Most everybody's going to have a system of 1 strainer at this point, unless you've upgraded to this kind of stuff. I start with my loud. So I pick one of these, which is like a thick steel cable, and I tighten it up until it feels good loud. I follow it up with the next steel cable, which is my mediums. Just aiming for that dryness. And finally, I've got guitar wire on there that I bring up. And that's it. That's the quick, simple way to change your head. Again, we've got the full-length video if you want to know how to start from the very beginning and redo your entire drum. That's a much longer video. But this is just a quick way to change your head because we got to do it sometimes. All right, see you later.
By the city pool, flipping off a teenage fool rats. I love it when I do that, cause I was behind that fence, sucking on a fun dip, popping all my zits, getting rides to the mall.